Being able to be vulnerable and acknowledge vulnerability is so healthy. And tragically, society does not encourage us to be open that way. Yiddishkeit does, very much so. Every day we clap our heart, we make vidui, we acknowledge to Hashem we're imperfect. We're not meant to present a sense of perfection to ourselves or to the world. But the world today has no tolerance for that. And anybody's imperfections are pulled apart. You end up with a society that is just not real. It's plastic. And people do not like vulnerability. But vulnerability is a crucial experience in growth and in relationships.
Hey, I'm Esther, and you are listening to On Your Own, a podcast for Jewish girls living away from home. Each week, we bring you an inspiring person or message to help you confidently navigate life on your own so you can achieve real growth and independence and take ownership of this foundational stage of your life. For additional resources, tips, and to stay up to date on future episodes, sign up for the On Your Own newsletter, linked below in the description. Looking forward to spending some time with you today. And now, to this week's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to On Your Own. My guest today is Rabbi Wineberg, my amazing father. Rabbi Wineberg has been a community rabbi in South Africa for 25 years, and in that role has counseled thousands of people who have lost someone that they love or who are experiencing different forms of grief. In today's episode, we discuss lessons from the 3 weeks, how Yiddishkeit teaches us to mourn, how joy and grief can coexist in our lives, healthy versus unhealthy grief, the importance of learning to be vulnerable and to ask for help, the connection between grief and leaving home for the first time, how to be there for a friend who has experienced loss and what not to do, and much more. I hope that you enjoy this conversation as much as I did, and that it gives you some clarity and focus for the coming weeks ahead as we prepare ourselves for Tisha B'Av, and some direction in navigating this very powerful, complex emotion, the emotion of grief, in all of the different ways that it plays out as we enter into adulthood. Enjoy. We are now entering into the 3 weeks, which we know is a designated time of mourning in Yiddishkeit. How does this time of mourning fit into the general approach of serving Hashem with joy and staying positive even when life gets difficult? What should be our focus during this time?
I think generally we live in an age where information is expected to be packed into a very neat little soundbite. And we want that information should be and guidance should be almost one dimensional. Just tell me what to do, tell me what it is, almost tell me how to think. One of the hallmarks of Yiddishkeit is that it's very nuanced. There are shades and there are elements of everything. The question is, what does one emphasize and how does one understand it? The Torah definitely emphasizes joy, and in Hasidic thought in particular, joy takes a very important, prominent focus on what Judaism is about and how to serve Hashem, and how only with joy can we truly overcome the wiles of the Yetzer Hara. The nuance that we need is to understand that the experiences of mourning and grieving are, interestingly enough, not really the opposite of the experience of joy. They can actually coexist. Because joy doesn't mean feeling good, and grief doesn't mean being depressed. So sadness, pain, brokenness are very important parts of the human experience. As Shlomo Melech says, La kol et, everything has a time. Everything has its time. Sometimes, as we'll see, these different emotions can actually coexist because life is very complex and nuanced. It's not either or. So that's a general approach. The general approach is trying to understand what is the. We'll spend more time, I think, focusing on the sadness today as understanding that, as opposed to the joy. But ultimately, the ideal is that they should and can coexist.
So you said that, I want to just make sure I got this right, that grief is not necessarily depression.